This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Right now at 7, all evidence points to a dry Friday night for football and other activities, but we are tracking a change for tomorrow. Good evening to you. I'm Mark Mullins here with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory. We saw some sunshine today. Car washes were busy, but tomorrow might be a couch day.
To follow up on Mr. Rogers there, it was a beautiful day.
Yes, it really was.
Temperatures tomorrow, cold with occasional showers. So that's your Saturday challenge. We'll snap out of it, though, for second half of the weekend. We're at 35 now. Temperature falling quickly because sky is clear. The air is dry. You can see just 27 for our dew point. Off to the southwest, we've got in Missouri, you've got rain and snow. We may see a little wintry mix here tomorrow, but ahead tonight, the clouds will increase. That's really about it as we go through the overnight. They're really increasing toward the morning hours tomorrow. Temperature lost 3 degrees in the last hour in Indy, down to 30 in Lafayette, just below the freezing mark in Peru. Temperatures, as we mentioned, below average during the day tomorrow. We were in the 50s yesterday, about 10 to 15 degrees cooler today. Thanks to this, a change in the wind direction. We were out of the southwest yesterday. It is a light northeast wind right now. Dave and Brad are out checking out the big games for you tonight. We'll have all those highlights for you at 11. 35 now, 32 as the games come to an end. We wake up tomorrow morning with cloud cover in place. Won't take long. Here come the rain showers. They may mix with later in the day. What actually happens is a cold pool of air above ground level will come in and start to mix in some snow, melting snowflakes with this as it goes through the afternoon and evening. There's the temperature game plan. They don't move much. Temperatures in the 30s. If you're headed to a football game, we'll have that forecast and look beyond coming up.
A concerned grandmother says drivers are blowing through a four-way stop on the southeast side, and she wants officials to take action now. Mary Arnold lives near Shelbyville Road and 5 Points Road in Franklin Township. She says careless drivers don't pay attention to the stop signs. She says that there have been several crashes over the last few years, some fatal.
I have 7 grandchildren. One of my grandchildren lost her best friend here, so I just hate to see that happening to somebody else.
We just received a response from the Department of Public Works. They plan to install additional stop signs on the left side of the road across from the existing stop sign on the right side. This will create 4 double stop intersections. There will also be a stop ahead sign to warn traffic. A spokesman says at this time they cannot recommend using LED stop signs since there is not enough crash data to indicate that this is a low visibility intersection. Typically, that is what LED signs are used for. 9 days after his death in the line of duty, and Fishers police are still dealing with the sudden loss of a beloved K-9 officer. For the first time, Harley's handler is talking about that fateful early morning when the K-9 was shot and killed. It happened as Fishers officers were chasing after a suspect who had run into some woods near the Saxony neighborhood. Officer Jared Koopman says the loss hit his family hard. His wife and his 2 young sons miss Harley being home with them.
At home, he just got to be a dog, which is what I remember most about him, of chewing on his Kong toy and playing outside and just coming up and being able to pet him. And he lived a good life at home. But when it was time to work, he was a working dog, and he did a great job.
He saved your life.
He did. He saved my life and the officers' lives that were there on scene. There's no doubt about it.
Richard Garrett and Rashana Farrow were the suspects involved in that chase. Police say Garrett fired the shots that killed Harley. Both of them now face multiple charges. New at 7, a Marion County judge has dismissed the case against an Indianapolis daycare provider accused of reckless supervision. Ashley James was charged in 2016 after a 1-year-old girl was injured at her daycare. She was hit and scratched by an older child at the facility. Prosecutor said as the daycare's director, James put the children in a dangerous situation. However, just last week at trial, a judge dismissed the case against James. James's attorney tells us the arrest and charge have now been expunged. Happening right now, dozens of people in Martinsville are choosing to spend their Friday night sleeping outside in the cold instead of under a roof. RTV6's Troy Washington is working for you, showing just how committed one community is to bringing change through raising awareness about homelessness.
Out in the elements with nothing more than a box and maybe a sleeping bag. That's how some will be spending their Friday night.
We can only help so many families, and we currently have 50 families on a waiting list. And we are trying to do our best to try to help all of them.
That's only because they are taking part in the Bring Your Own Box Sleep Out event being put on by Wellspring Family Homeless Shelter.
We're the only family shelter between Indianapolis and Bloomington.
The fundraiser mirrors homeless life, but doesn't even begin to give people a taste of what it's really like having no place to go. Organizers say last year, seeing boxes scattered all across town square got people talking about the homelessness problem in the area. According to Ron Renford, the lack of affordable housing, good paying jobs, and opportunities can sometimes leave people without a place to live in the city, bringing people to the shelter's doorsteps during their darkest moments.
I came here from Anderson. I was working. I was a CNA. I started having a lot of trouble with my knees. I have arthritis really bad. So I wasn't able to work anymore. I had to apply for disability. That was a real long road.
A long, winding road made a bit easier with the shelter's help. Connie Bishop believes if it weren't for people being willing to sleep outside for the cause, the funding might not keep rolling in. To keep the place going, that's helped her family find their way. Working for you, Troy Washington, RTV6.
The Office of the Attorney General, Curtis Hill, will not face sanctions over some TV commercials that aired statewide. These were not campaign commercials. They were ads for his office's unclaimed property division, where you can see if money or other property of yours has ended up in the state's possession. Well, Indiana's Inspector General found that Hill's office violates state code by using Hill's name in some of those ads. However, the Inspector General also found that the violation was not intentional and that the Attorney General's office self-reported the misstep to the state. A state legislator is joining the field of candidates vying for the northwestern Indiana congressional seat being given up by Democratic Representative Pete Visclosky. State Representative Mara Candelaria Reardon of Munster will leave the legislature after 6 terms as she seeks the 2020 Democratic nomination for the 1st District. Reardon became the first Hispanic woman elected to the legislature when she won in 2006. She and 3 female legislative staffers sued Attorney General Curtis Hill on allegations he groped them during a 2018 party. Other candidates already in the race for the Democratic nomination include Hammond Mayor Thomas McDermott and Valparaiso Attorney Jim Harper, who was the 2018 Democratic Indiana Secretary of State nominee. President Trump said he would like a full Senate trial if the House votes to impeach him. This comes after 5 days of public impeachment testimony. Now that part is finished, and Maya Rodriguez shows us what happens next.
When the impeachment inquiry kicked off nearly 2 weeks ago,
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth?
truth became part of a political tug-of-war.
Lots of bombshells.
Louis Michael Seidman is a professor of constitutional law at Georgetown. He's studied the impeachment process since the Nixon years and says whether or not a crime was committed is not necessarily the point with impeachment.
The standard is not the criminal law. The standard is whether he is abusing the powers of his office and doing the job that he's supposed to do to make sure that the laws are faithfully executed.
Most House Republicans have backed Trump and don't appear to be budging.
The American people sent us to Washington to solve problems, not to wage scorched earth political warfare against the other party.
So now what? Based on all the testimony, the House Intelligence Committee will send any materials it collected and a report to the Judiciary Committee. The Judiciary Committee may hold its own public hearings or depositions. Those members will then decide if impeachment goes to the full House for a vote. Impeachment requires 218 members to vote for it. There are 233 Democrats in the House. If it passes, it moves to the Senate, where a trial is held with senators acting as the jury. There are 53 Republicans in that chamber. Removal from office requires a 2/3 vote there. Despite those numbers, Professor Seidman cautions against trying to predict an outcome.
It's just a fool's errand to predict with any certainty how this will end.
And whether or not that includes the removal of a sitting president. In Washington, D.C., I'm Maya Rodriguez reporting.
Still to come here on RTV6, a unique way of feeding local families is set to get rolling tomorrow. And if you'd like to help, they'd love to hear from you. Plus, a young woman calls 911 for a pizza. But this was no prank, and what she did likely saved at least 2 lives.
This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Bringing Bringing food to those who need it most, that's what one group is hoping to do as they debut a new mobile food pantry. The former school bus will hit the streets for the first time tomorrow. It's the brainchild of an organization called Faith, Hope, and Love, run by Merlin Gonzalez. He wants to bring the food to those who live more than a mile from grocery stores. Now, this is fully funded through donations, but to make it work, Gonzalez is partnering with area churches. The first one, Greater Works Church on 62nd near Allisonville. Senior Pastor Thomas Johnson says the bus will be parked outside their church for the first food pickup.
This is actually going to be a tremendous, we hope, is a tremendous assistance to people, especially those working parents or those just who may struggle during this time of year.
Gonzalez plans to partner with other churches in the coming weeks and bring the bus to additional neighborhoods. We put a link with more information on this story in the RTV6 app and on our website, theindychannel.com. What at first seemed like a wrong number turned out to be a call for help. Luckily for an Ohio woman, her 911 dispatcher was listening very carefully.
Oregon 911.
I would like to order a pizza at...
You called 911 to order a pizza?
Yeah, apartment.
This is the wrong number to call for a pizza.
No, you're not.
I'm getting you now.
911 dispatcher Tim Tanique quickly realized the person on the other end was pretending to order a pizza while someone else, likely an abuser, was standing nearby. After this exchange, he quickly alerted officers of a possible domestic violence situation in progress. The officers turned off their sirens before arriving at the house and took the suspect into custody.
Other dispatchers that I've talked to would not have picked up on this. They've told me they wouldn't have picked up on this.
The victim's daughter actually made the call to dispatch. She says she wanted to keep the person hitting her mom from running away before police got there. And as you see, that strategy worked. By the way, experts say coming up with some kind of code to alert 911 that you're in trouble is the right thing to do. A man in the Netherlands has come up with a controversial solution to curb speeding in his neighborhood. Look at that. He's using his own pet animals to make drivers slow down. He releases a flock of chickens, ducks, and geese onto the street and lets them roam freely. He calls it the animal zone because it's been a success so far. But neighbors worry that it's only a matter of time before an animal or a driver gets hurt in the road ruckus there. An American couple caught in a vacation nightmare. They said they were being held as medical hostages in Mexico. Coming up, what happened when a major celebrity heard their story.
And by mid-morning tomorrow, we begin to see the rain showers coming from south to north. We'll finish this timeline for you, tell you what's different about Sunday.
Well, you may have seen the headlines. This couple from Atlanta claims that they were held hostage in a Mexican hospital over an unpaid medical bill. Now a new development. Their travel nightmare may be coming to an end after a celebrity saw their story on Good Morning America and stepped in to help. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez reports from Los Angeles.
This American couple says a Mexican hospital became their prison, claiming they were held there against their will for days because they couldn't pay their full medical bill.
They locked the windows, so we couldn't open up the windows, and so far we just can't leave until this $14,000 bill is paid.
Stephen Johnson was rushed to the hospital in Progreso, Mexico after going into diabetic shock while on a Carnival cruise with his fiancée, Tori Austin. After 3 days in intensive care, they were given a bill for $14,000. They say they offered to pay $7,000 up front and then asked to work out a payment plan for the rest.
The plan is to pay the bill. It's not to skip out on the bill. You know, they saved his life. His life is more than $14,000.
But they say the hospital demanded the full amount in cash, which the couple didn't have. And when they tried to leave, they say hospital administrators physically stopped them.
We were physically assaulted by the administrative staff. They physically were pushing on him.
The bleeding? This is one of the areas that I was attacked.
Media mogul Tyler Perry reportedly saw their story Friday on Good Morning America and stepped in, paying their full hospital bill. But still, the nightmare isn't over. ABC station WSB reporting this update from the family, saying the hospital now doesn't believe Johnson is well enough to leave and wants him to stay for additional treatment over the weekend. The State Department says they've been closely monitoring the situation, and Carnival Cruise Lines tells ABC News that their care team is providing support. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Flu season has come early this year. That's according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. In fact, the CDC says it's the earliest start in 10 years. A strain of the flu that's particularly tough on kids is showing up early, too, for the first time in 27 years. There's significant flu activity in all but 12 states, and it's hitting the southeast and southwest the hardest. Experts say the early flu season is even more reason to get your flu shot if you have not already. Let's get your Storm Team 6 forecast. Many of you thinking ahead to the weekend. Kevin's here with a look at the plans.
And if you think ahead to the second day of the weekend, that's when it will be brighter again. But at least we had some sunshine today. You got to like that. Temperatures cooler today than they were yesterday by 10 to 15 degrees. We're still in the 30s tomorrow. That comes with rain that may mix with snow at times, especially central and southeast portions of the state. As I mentioned, second half of the weekend, temperatures bounce back with the help of some sunshine and will also dry out. Just want to jump to next week for a second. If you are traveling, right now it looks like a rain event for the Hoosier State. This is Tuesday at 1 o'clock. We'll take this until the evening hours Tuesday. Still rain for Indiana, much of Illinois, but just in Wisconsin through Iowa, back into Kansas, a strip of snow on the cold side of the storm system. By the time we get into early Wednesday morning, there'll be some wraparound snow showers and snow, maybe as close as Chicago, northwest Indiana, and our temperatures will fall. We'll be in the low 50s Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures fall Wednesday as the colder air starts to wrap around that weather system. For us tomorrow, we're going to see the rain across central Indiana. Then we're dry as we get to Sunday and Monday. Rain chances mid-morning through mid to late afternoon, especially in the eastern portion of the state. That's the most likely window for rain. Afternoon hours when it may mix with some snow that would be melting. Up in South Bend, lots of clouds, but I do think you'll stay dry. Chance for any showers, just 20%, 38. You definitely have to have a game plan to stay dry. Down in Bloomington, pregame activities, the morning hours into the afternoon. Showers most likely, perhaps some improvement, though, during the game, as the kickoff is not until 3:30. Clouds in place in the morning. Rain mid-morning, starting to push northeast. There's your widespread rain at 1 o'clock. By the time we get to 4, starting to shift a bit to the east. You can see it hanging along the state line as we get to tomorrow evening. Rainfall potential, generally 1/3 of an inch or less. And you see the sharp cutoff to the northwest, much less chance for any rainfall. Friday temperatures, or tomorrow, will be in the 30s all day long. Temperatures upper 30s for the afternoon high. On Sunday, 45 and dry. Monday will be even warmer. We'll be in the low 50s Monday and Tuesday with that chance for showers increasing on Tuesday. Still some showers, maybe a melting snowflake mixing in Wednesday. Dry on Thanksgiving for now. 46 for the high. That's not bad.
And then people looking forward to shopping on the next day.
You got it.
All
busy,
right,
busy.
Busy, busy. We'll be right back right after this.
At Ross, yes for less.
It's a huge day in the making for the city of Lawrence. Leaders there said that they needed to do better when it came to the physical location of its police department, and they did. Celebrating today the completion of the city's first ever designated police headquarters. Construction is complete after over a year of work. Lawrence's police force used to be housed inside the city's government center, which leaders say led to a lot of confusion. Now they want you to know this center is for everyone.
This is not an expense. It is an investment in the strength of our growing city. And I constantly encourage our citizens, families, school children, churches, business, civic organizations to not only make use of this building, but I also encourage them to use it as a chance to build their relationships and connect with their Lawrence police officers.
The new headquarters sits at 5150 North Post Road near Post and Pendleton Pike. Fighting internet addiction with nature. An Indonesia city is giving kids baby chicks and chili seeds to get students away from their screens. The program is called Chickenization. It hopes students will spend less time in electronics and more time caring for their pets or plants. 2,000 chicks and 1,500 chili seeds are being provided to more than 10 schools. Indonesia internet users spend an average of 8 hours and 36 minutes per day online. It's 2 hours higher than the global average. It is time to start plotting your Thanksgiving grocery store run, but you can save yourself a lot of time and headaches by knowing when not to go. Most people assume that the worst day to do your shopping is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and because of that, more people actually do their shopping on that Tuesday. But retail experts say that will likely be the busiest day of the next week at the grocery store. Folks at Google Maps also looked at trends for other Thanksgiving shopping stops. Bakeries tend to be the busiest around midday on Tuesday, and liquor stores will be bustling all day on Wednesday. A lot to get done, a lot to pick up.
There's strategy involved.
Yeah.
You know my favorite phone number this time of year, right?
It's the Butterball one, yeah.
1-800-BUTTERBALL. I call it year-round. They're there for us whenever we need them. All right, shower chances. 39, we'll see rain tomorrow, maybe mixing with snow, especially in the afternoon. 45 on Sunday and partly sunny.
You ready to give them a call now?
I will.
I'm sure you got some questions.
How do I fry a turkey?
See you back here at 11, everybody.